Everybody, welcome to Adoption Awareness Live. This is Jerry Ann Waring. Happy November the 2nd. Yes, I think we are on the 2nd, right? Yes. This has been a crazy last couple of weeks, actually last couple of days, but I'm so happy that you joined me today. Welcome. Today is a day for the ceiling fan to be on. Crazy weather we're having in Central Texas too. I don't know what's going on these days, but you know what? God is still on the throne. He is still good, right? Amen. For those Christians out there that believe what I'm saying. Everybody else, I don't know what to tell you. Listen, I'm so glad you joined me today, and I want to talk about 5 myths about open adoption. Excuse me, I can't believe still exist. And I thought this article was interesting and wanted to expound on it just a little bit. So I'm glad you're with me today, and I could tell you all the things that have been going on in my life in the last several days, but I don't want to take up a lot of time. One little thing, my husband was involved in a car accident Monday night where he hit a buck. Pretty big deer. Right now it happens to be deer season, we found out. Deer mating season. Okay? So they're running rampant right now, so I would say be careful, Central Texas, if you're up in the hill country driving. You shouldn't drive at night anyway. These roads up in the hill country are not well lit, and we've seen already accidents with deer during the day. So be careful driving. Okay? That's all I'm going to say about that. Also, on a different note, say a prayer for me. Next Wednesday, I'm having an upper GI to figure out what's going on with my esophagus. Some stuff been going on for almost a year. And finally buckled down to have this procedure done to see what's going on. So appreciate your prayers for that. Okay? So let's move over just a little bit because I'm going to look at the computer here and we're going to talk about the 5 myths about open adoption that I can't believe still exist. And this is an article by Lita Jordan that was actually written October the 1st and posted on adoption.com. I find a lot of my articles there and you're free to look them up yourself. But if you're too busy, I'm here to help you. I'll give you a little bit of background. Lita Jordan is a master of all things home, quote unquote, a work from home, stay at home, homeschooling mother of 5. She has a BA in youth ministry from Spring Arbor University. She's married to the other Michael Jordan and lives on coffee and its unrealistic promises of productivity. Lita enjoys playing guitar and long trips to Target, and you can follow her on Facebook. It doesn't say that she's an adoptive parent, but I'm kind of guessing that she is. So let's start with myth number 1. Myth number 1, it's too confusing for the child, in other words, to have an open adoption. She says children are just as receptive to varying relational dynamics as an adult. Even if they have an understanding that they have 2 moms, it will be very clear to them the difference between the two because of the relationship they will each hold. If we remain open to and answer the child's questions, there will be little to no confusion. As a title is just a title. It's time and nurturing that will define a relationship. Children will eventually learn the complexities of each relationship as they grow. I can't agree more with her. She's right on. I don't think there's anything there that I need to expound on. As long as you have open communication, you're not hiding anything, be open and honest with your child, that's what matters. And the rest it's like puzzle pieces that will all start coming together as the child develops and matures. Some people have 2 dads, 2 moms. I mean, it's not so unusual, right? Myth number 2. Their parents don't deserve an open adoption. Their birth parents, I should say. Their birth parents don't deserve an open adoption. That hurts. Ouch. This is what she says. While there are cases where an open adoption is not an option due to abuse and safety concerns, many adoptions involve children being being voluntarily placed. Making the choice to place a child is not a reason for someone to not deserve communication and updates. Even when a child has been removed by the state, people do change. There are extreme cases where this is not true, but especially with the current opioid crisis, people do come out on the other side. In the end, a person being not deserving enough of their child is not your call. That's a very judgmental statement. A person may be too dangerous to be in contact with their child, but leave the judgment of deserving off the table. Amen, Lita. Couldn't have said that any better myself. Let's think about this when we think about birth mothers making the choice. Okay, first of all, it's their choice. And I don't care what the outsiders looking in might think, it is a very difficult decision to come to. Okay, and they grapple with it and struggle with it throughout their lives. Okay, throughout the life of the child's development, throughout their life, their personal life. So we're not in the shoes of that birth mom. You're not. I was. I have been. But if you're not in the shoes of a birth mom, you cannot be making that judgment call. Okay? Birth families, birth parents do deserve to have open adoptions. Okay? Number 3, it will be too inconvenient for our family. Okay, obviously this is an adoptive family's perspective. And she goes on to say, open adoption does not look a certain way. Many imagine open adoption to involve the birth parents contacting a child whenever they want and seeing their child whenever they choose. Open adoption is still, open adoption is all about your preference in your court. It is up to you to decide what is best for the safety and well-being of your child. This does not have to include visits and can change as situations change. You can choose from scenarios such as visit at a public place every 6 months, a visit once a year, to no visits at all. Your open adoption may simply include communication and pictures on social media or a once-a-year letter and pictures. There are many ways to make open adoption convenient and healthy for your family. And if you recall, way back, maybe almost a year ago, I did talk about open adoption and the various degrees of openness, okay? And this is what she's talking about. You can make your open adoption on one side of the scale, once a year contact, like she said, with just letters and pictures. That's what I did. Or it can travel to birthday visits, Christmas visits, once every 6 months visits, once every 3 months phone calls. I mean, it can vary. And that's an agreement that the birth mother has to have with the adoptive family. Okay? So keep that in mind. And do not say that it's too inconvenient for your family if you're an adoptive or prospective adoptive parent, because you can find a happy medium there. Okay? Number 4, the birth family no longer matters. That's a tough one too. She goes on to say that's a myth. Okay? The birth family no longer matters. That's a huge myth. Last Halloween, we took my daughter to visit her biological aunt and sister. We all took them trick-or-treating and ate a meal together. Though my daughter's very young, she had an immediate connection with her sister and her sister with her. Both of their eyes lit up at seeing one another, and they spent the entire day enthralled with one another. Birth families matter. They did not choose adoption. My child did not choose to be adopted. If the situation allows it and is healthy, then it's important to make that effort. So please, if you're thinking that birth families no longer matter, please get that thought out of your mind, because that's absolutely not the case. Okay? And number 5, they will try to take my child back. This is another myth. Once an adoption is finalized, your child is yours, just as they would be if you gave birth to them. I understand this fear, but this would be like a stranger coming to take claim to your child. They will have no legal standing any longer to take your child. The only way your child can be taken at this point is through Child Protective Services. I can tell you there's another way, but let me continue. When you hear various scenarios in the news of children taken back, this is due to steps being skipped in adoption or some sort of legality not being executed. If you went through the adoption process legally, the birth family cannot regain custody of a child. Open adoption does not change that in any way. Open adoption is scary, it's heart-wrenching, and it's new. It takes a lot of pride swallowing, but it is a beautiful, life-giving option. If open adoption is an option for your family, please take the time to consider what you might be comfortable with. Your relationship with the birth family will ebb and flow as situations change. Your terms can change, and what your open adoption looks like can change. It is completely up to you and your child. Take the time to speak with your agency about what open adoption can do for your situation and learn from others who have been through open adoption. Building bridges for your child will be one of the most important things that you will ever do. Amen, Lita. And I just want to go back and say that when she says they have no legal standing, the only way your child can be taken is through Child Protective Services. Let me just stop right there and say Child Protective Services would never get involved in an adoption unless somebody made an allegation of child abuse towards that family with that child. It doesn't matter whether that is a birth family or an adoptive family. Adoptive families are and can be abusive to their children. It happens, okay? So Child Protective Services has no reason to get involved with an adoption when an attorney is present, when the attorney does all the paperwork. If you go through a nonprofit agency or a child placing agency, same thing, okay? So, and let me just say this about the legal part of it. After 23 years of working in this industry or in this field, I can tell you that the only option or the only way that a birth mother could take the family back to court and try to fight for custody is if she finds an attorney, a good family law attorney, who finds the loopholes in the legal documents and in the process when they were going through it, once the birth mother and birth father relinquished their parental rights. Everybody has a right to their day in court, and I have said this over the years to many, many families. Everybody has a right to their day in court. However, doesn't mean that they're going to take or regain custody of their child. You've just got to make sure that when you're going through the process initially, every T is crossed, every I is dotted. Don't let there be loopholes. Don't let there be opportunities for another attorney to find a legal loophole and take you back to court and successfully take that child back to give to its birth mom. Okay? Not trying to scare you. You have heard of stories, I'm sure, where it's happened. But again, don't let fear grip you into thinking that this is not a viable plan for adoption to go through that process, because I can tell you of some horror stories, but I can tell you 100 more of wonderful, amazing stories that were successful. And I'm sure if you do some research, you're going to find the same thing. You may even know people who have adopted, okay, and have had successful adoptions, okay? So that's all I'm going to say on that today. This is going to be really short. I'm really not feeling too good today, and I just really appreciate your prayers. Just had a lot going on, so much stuff, and then with my health, it kind of takes its toll, I guess. So keep me in prayer, and hopefully next Thursday, because my upper GI is on Wednesday, so hopefully all goes well, and you'll see me here on Thursday, okay? And I will keep you posted on what our topic will be. So I hope you have a blessed week. Have a wonderful week. And Lord willing, we'll see you again soon. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.